Howdy, this is Tony Nestor with the Ancient Pathways Survival School in Arizona. On a road trip going west here to Joshua Tree National Park, where I'm going to be teaching a class in a couple days on desert survival. I thought I'd do a little travel log and overview on a couple of desert related tips and skills. You can see we got snow here in the low desert. This is from about a week ago, and once again, the desert is such a land of extremes. You can be out and dealing with heat exhaustion and pounding in the water during the day, and then at night you've got potentially hypothermia issues and frostbite issues if you're not prepared. So I'm going to kind of turn this into a little travel log, talk about some of the transition zones along the way. Where I started, I was at Flagstaff at 7,000 feet, Ponderosa Pine Forest, be dropping down to low desert, Mojave Desert, and then eventually Joshua Tree, which is in the Mojave Desert, shortly here. Out in the Mojave Desert here still, not far from Joshua Tree and 29 Palms, and you can see it's pretty clear over here. Kind of deceptive looking. We got a major storm coming in though, and if you see that kicking up all that dust, this is a full-blown sandstorm headed east. This is coming from the west, from the coast. It's already been pretty severe with about 40-50 mile-an-hour winds, and it's going to kick up even more. This is the kind of weather you just want to hunker down and get to a cave shelter, get out of the sand, the wind, open desert, because you're going to be inhaling all of the threat. Not only the dust, but the environmental pollutants from nearby towns and cities, and pollen and everything else. You're going to get choked up pretty fast here. This is where a good desert shemagh comes in, one of those scarves like you see our soldiers and indigenous peoples wearing in the Middle East there. And keep covered up, keep your eyes protected, and hunker down those passes. Up for 48 hours. This one will last about 24 hours, but it's going to be pretty severe. So here's that sandstorm again coming in another direction here. You'd want to get to the base of those mountains if possible. Hole up over there. We've also got a drainage over here. Hole up and get off the ridge line there and drop down into the depression. That'll help. That doesn't mean being in the bottom of a canyon on the canyon floor if there's a threat of rain coming. And then you have flash flood issues and you're going to be swimming. So just get off that exposed desert topography. Get into one of the drainages, get to the base of the mountains, get to some boulders, and hole up there and work on your Christmas list. Well, if you're ever caught driving in a sandstorm, keep in mind that you could encounter brownout conditions so severe you're not going to be able to see the other people around you. That happened once to my wife and I. We were headed to San Diego. We took the southern route to through Yuma, which is a lot of open desert and sand. And we headed out that way, and we encountered this major brownout sandstorm. We couldn't see anything. It got so dangerous, we just pulled off the road. And we pulled off maybe, I don't know, we got off the exit and we pulled off maybe 100 yards or so from the exit. And then from there, we waited it out for about 2 hours. Once the storm cleared, we realized that there were about 20 other vehicles around us. It was incredible. We couldn't even see that when we had pulled off. So also keep in mind that your vehicle's air filter system and possibly even air conditioning could be compromised after you get caught in a sandstorm. Now, I'm not talking about driving through the desert on a windy day. I do that all the time. But if you're driving through an actual sandstorm and it gets severe, then you're probably going to want to stop after that trip. You get down and get a new air filter, or at least pop it out, shake it out and clean it, or go to an oil change place, have them look at it. But your air filter and cooling system could be compromised as a result of that. This is Bill Williams River. Flows through the heart of the desert here, ending at the Colorado River. And look at this ocean of cattails out here, just incredible. You'd be all set here with shelter material, bedding material, but you know, it's quite an unusual sight to see this much water in the desert. And because it's such a prominent river out here, we see a lot of neotropical birds out here, flycatchers and grebes, and pretty amazing sight. But on either side of this vertical oasis, it's just barren rock, sand, and open desert. Well, I'm back home here, out of the storm and out of the desert, and I want to just mention the Shemagh. And you know, Shemagh you can get for about 12 bucks. I get mine from cheaperthandirt.com. They're pretty common within the tactical community these days because of our involvement in Afghanistan. And it's 100% cotton. It comes in a square like this. And if you're gonna use it, there's so many different ways of using this, but fold it into a triangle, and then you can drape it over you. You can just have it as a scarf to protect your neck when you're hiking in the desert, or you can remove the hat and have it where you tie it up, make one side shorter than the other, kind of tuck this up over here. This becomes your tie on the other side. And then once you get this pulled up over here, you tie it back. You tie it back. and get it secured that way. So lots of different ways of doing it, and you got a multi-purpose tool here as well. You've got a water straining device for getting the gunk out of water when you're trying to filter that stuff out. You've got, because it's 100% cotton, you've got some char cloth material here you could burn up and turn into char cloth for flint and steel fires. You can just use this as a classic kind of dust mask for a cowboy, like a cowboy scarf. In fact, you could get a cowboy silk scarf or a neckerchief if you can find those, or some of the Celtic scarves. The Celtic scarves are about 36 inches by 36 inches, same size as this. They're made out of silk, so that'll hold up in the winter weather. That'll still keep you warm if it gets wet. And Panther Primitives carries those. I think they're about 20 bucks. But it's hard to beat one of these devices right here. This is an essential piece of desert survival gear, in my opinion. Thanks for watching this program. For more information on our field courses or desert survival DVD or books, you can visit apathways.com.